Hey guys, welcome. Jennifer here with Marrero Family Farm. Today we're in the kitchen. So I welcome you. If this is your first time to the channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the little notification bell so you can know the next time that we post a video. And for those of you who have been here before, welcome back. So today we're gonna make some French bread, and I've already kind of prepared everything. So first things first is 2 cups of warm water, 1 tablespoon, two and a half teaspoons of sugar, and then you mix that. This is gonna sit for 5 minutes or so. Then we have 5 cups of flour, it is best to use table salt, but the only salt that I have on hand is kosher salt. So you're gonna do 2.5 teaspoons of salt. And I use, like I said, I use the kosher, but it's best if you use table salt. So then over to your mixer. You're gonna start with 2 cups of flour. Okay, so now that our active yeast has been sitting now for about 5 minutes or so, a little bit more than 5 minutes, we're gonna mix this in with our 2 cups of flour. I'm gonna use my KitchenAid, and I'm gonna use my hook tool. Now if you don't have one of these, that's fine, you can do it by hand. And we're just gonna speed this up a little bit. Just gonna scrape around the edges to make sure it's all getting mixed well. And we're just gonna add a half to a cup of flour at each time, up until about 5 to 6 cups of flour. You see how it's still sticking to the edges there? That means that it needs more flour. still a little on the sticky side. So now that it is all mixed, you'll put it into a bowl. I always just pour a little bit of olive oil, Bertolli extra virgin olive oil. I just pour a little bit in my hand and I rub it all over, top and bottom. Place it in a bowl. So then you just cover it with a nice clean towel. Okay, so now that's gonna set covered for about 30 minutes. If you can do longer than 30 minutes, that would be great. Up to an hour is perfect. I have another one that's been sitting for about 45 minutes or so, so we're gonna take that one out. So this is one that I have already been working on. Gonna take out my flour. And we're just gonna flour the surface. I just use my countertop and make sure it's nice and clean. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna divide this in half. So this is gonna make 2 loaves. I don't want it too floury. I have my rolling pin, and we are just gonna make a rectangle. Then once you've made your rectangle. Hey guys, so I'm gonna do a voiceover here. Once you roll out your dough, then you're gonna go to the long end of the dough and you're gonna start rolling it in like a cylinder. And then right before you get to the very end, like right about here, then you're gonna tuck in your edges and make it look pretty. Don't go to the very end like I did here and then tuck it like I did right here. Watch the way I did it the second time. You're gonna set it on a cookie tray, and then you're gonna do your next one. Okay guys, this is where you really want to pay attention to what you're doing. You go almost to the end, then you're going to tuck in your edges, then you're going to continue to roll it. Make sure your edges look really nice, because the way that it looks here is the way that it's going to look once it's baked. And don't put slices in until after it rises for the second time. So now we're going to put it on the tray and we're going to cover it. So we're gonna let that rise for about another 30 to 60 minutes, however much time you have. The longer, the better. So this is the dough that we made together. It's a little bit fluffier than the last dough. The fluffier the dough, the lighter and more airy the dough is gonna be, and it won't be so dense. So you'll notice that when I roll this one out, then I'm gonna roll in the edges. But really take your time with this process, because after it rises, there's nothing that you can do to correct anything. So roll in your edges, and then like I said, once you get almost to the end, then you're gonna tuck in your sides. But really take your time with this part right here. This is what's gonna make your loaf look pretty. So don't rush, take your time. After you tuck in your ends, you'll finish rolling it. Then you're going to flip it over, and you're going to pinch the seams with the rest of the dough just to smooth it all together. And you guys, this is the loaf that we made together. So you're gonna bake your loaves for anywhere from 17 to 23 minutes in a 400-degree oven. Depends on how crispy you want your top. If you notice that it's starting to get brown a little too quick, lower your temperature down to 375 degrees. But after, 17 to 23 minutes, it should be done. The longer you cook it, the crispier the top is gonna be. And then once it comes out, you can put a little bit of butter on the top, which I'm gonna show you because that's how I like mine, just to give it a nice shine on the top. They're not the prettiest looking, but that's okay. I just take a stick of butter, instead of melting it, I just rub it right on, give it that nice glossy finish. And that's it. So guys, that's it. It didn't come out exactly the way that I hoped that it did, but it still tastes delicious. It's actually almost all gone already. At least one loaf is almost all gone. The great thing about this bread is you can't really mess it up. And then the more you make, you can stick the loaves in the freezer. They can stay in the freezer for about 3 months. When you take them out of the freezer, you let them thaw out a little bit, and then you can pop them in the oven at 300 degrees for just a few minutes, just to get it nice and warm again. It's an amazing bread. It's easy to do. I used to be really terrified about making bread, about the rising process and it not coming out right and stuff like that. Even though this bread, it did come out a little bit more dense or thick than I would have liked it to be, it still tastes delicious. So no matter what, don't be afraid of making bread. Get your hands dirty, get in there. Another thing that I'd like to mention, this was the first time that I used my KitchenAid to knead the dough, and I think I'd prefer doing it by hand. I'm more of a hands-on kind of person. I like to feel texture and stuff like that. So next time, I'm just gonna get right into the bowl, get my hands dirty, and do it by hand rather than using my KitchenAid. And that's really it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please let me know down below in the comments if you're going to try this or if you have tried this recipe and what you think of it. And until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching and be blessed. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.